Hello, lovelies. So let's talk about Chihuahua puppy training because there is something going wrong for our young adult Chihuahuas, especially the boys. There are far too many ending up in rescues or ending up being rehomed because of behaviour issues. And I'm absolutely convinced that this breakdown starts at puppyhood, and that's not because owners are they don't care, and it's not because they're doing the wrong thing on purpose. So much of what goes wrong for our young Chihuahuas is the advice that people are given. So much of the advice out there is out of date, just plain wrong for any breed, and unprofessional, and quite often ends up creating the exact problems that you're trying to resolve. So if you've bought a lovely scrumptious Chihuahua puppy home, I imagine that you really want to get it right, and you've made this decision that you are not going to have the stereotypical growly bitey Chihuahua that is so common for the breed. Nobody wants a dog that's barking all the time. Nobody wants a dog that's anxious, and nobody wants a dog that is lunging and barking at visitors and other dogs on walks. So how does this happen? How do we end up with the stereotypical barking, yapping Chihuahua when, as an owner, you quite often have done literally everything that you were told to do in order to socialize and train your dog? So when your puppy is born, they are a clean slate. They don't know all of it. They don't come into this world thinking that they're going to bark at other dogs or they're going to bark at visitors. This is things that they learn. These are things that they do that are driven by how they feel or what they think is going to happen next. So everything your Chihuahua experiences teaches them something, whether that's good or whether it's bad. And the bad experience that they have often outweigh any good experiences. So it's really important at this crucial stage to make sure that their training is full of optimism and they are not put under any kind of stress. So let's look at one of the biggest pieces of training advice that owners are given that causes more problems than it solves, and that is the current advice that you will see everywhere about socialization. So you have your lovely puppy and you obviously want them to be confident and you want them to be calm. The advice you'll be given, even by other trainers, is you need to get them out there, you need to introduce them to lots of dogs, you need to put them into lots of situations, they need to be handled, they need to meet lots of people. Now the problem with this advice is it's basically putting a young dog into situations that they do not have the skills for. This is called flooding. And what is going to happen when you do this to your dog is one of two things. They're either going to become super aroused and overexcited and anxious and drop into what we call avoidance behaviors, which are behaviors that dogs pick to make things that they're concerned about to go away. That's your barking, your lunging, your growling. Or you're going to get a dog that goes, oh, I can't cope with this, and they literally shut down. They will become stiff. They will just stand there. They will freeze. They may hide behind you. Neither of these are good experiences for your dog. Somewhere along the line, we have confused socialization with exposure, and all we're doing when we're taking our dog out to lots of places and lots of and putting them in these situations is we are just exposing them. We are not socializing them. The two things are very different. Socialization isn't about seeing lots of things. It's about having the confidence and what your dog feels around lots of things. And in the case of dogs, it's quite often it's having the confidence to ignore another dog rather than wanting to run up to another dog and interact with them. So let's have a look at a very common piece of advice. Take your dog up to lots of other dogs in order to socialize them and get them used to other dogs. This is what could happen. So you take your little puppy out and your arousal for your dog is already going to be quite high because they're actually going out. So they're going to be full of cortisol, they're going to be bouncing around, they're going to be very excited. So already they are probably not in the right brain for learning. You take your dog up, your puppy up to another dog, a stranger dog that you've never met, and you go, I just want to say hello. And no one's asked the other dog how they feel about that. Okay, so you've got this other dog who's then presented with a puppy. Now, older dogs often find puppies really annoying because they are unpredictable. They don't know what they're going to do next. They don't observe the meet and greet protocol. So this other dog that you know nothing about might not want that interaction. He might have behavior issues of his own. He might not like other dogs. But you'll ask the owner, can my dog say hello? And the owner will probably go, yeah, that'd be fine. And it's not fine. You're putting yourself, your dog, the other owner, and the other dog into a very unpredictable situation. Let's assume that the dog, it goes well, because it might do. They might play, and it might be awesome. What you've taught your puppy is that it's all right to run up to other dogs. I see a dog, I can go run up and say hello to that. The next dog that they go and visit like that might not feel quite as enthusiastic. So you go up to another dog and the other dog doesn't want this interaction, and he barks at your puppy, or he pins your puppy down, because that is quite often something that an older dog will do, pin the puppy down and bark at it. What has your dog learned? What has your puppy learned in that situation? What they've learned is that other dogs are scary and unpredictable, and voila, you have a dog now that will bark at other dogs on sight, because the brain has learned that when this happened, something unpleasant happened. So now I need to guard against it. So now when I see another dog, I will drop in to avoidance behaviors. Now, often people will say, well, if you just keep doing it, the dog will get used to it. But that's not what's happening. The more you keep doing it, the more the dog is rehearsing that anxiety until that behavior escalates right up to just the dog predicting that they're going to be taken out. Another idea around socialization and puppy training is get your dog out there as quickly as possible. So let's assume you've got your fresh out of the box Chihuahua, and you're desperate to get him outside there. You've bought all the lovely harness, you've put the harness on the dog without any kind of harness training, and you've taken the dog out there. The transition from going out the door to the outside is going to be quite a high arousal experience for your dog. So they are going to be full of cortisol. They're going to be in the flight or flight part of their brain. Even if they're happy, excited, they are still going to be in this emotional position. You're out with your dog, a motorbike comes screaming past, a bin lorry comes screaming past, someone moves a bin or drops something, there's a huge noise, and it makes your puppy jump. What's your puppy learn? Okay, has he learned to cope with the outside, or has he learned that the outside is actually terrifying? So no one intended the dog to learn these lessons, but this is how the brain interprets this experience. And what a lot of people don't realize, like I said earlier, is that the lasting impact from a negative experience it goes deep into the brain, and it can impact your dog's future behavior. So when you expose your dog to what we call a flashbulb memory when they're really young, that can stay with them and be really difficult to train past as your dog gets older. And if you keep pushing your dog through this experience because you think the more you expose your dog to it, the more they get used to it, all that happens is this behavior escalates, and you end up with a dog who's pretty much basically psychotic. Dogs work by predicting what they think is going to happen next. If they think what is going to happen next is going to be scary or worrying, then you're going to get behavior that reflects that. What we want to do and what we want to achieve with our Chihuahua puppy is the prediction that the world is calm and the world is safe. And we don't get that by exposing our puppy to a lot of experiences that they just don't have the skills for. We build the skills gradually so that when life throws something at your puppy, they have the skills to deal with it. It's not about flooding them. It's about teaching them, yeah, I heard that. Nothing to do with me. It doesn't matter. This is exactly the reason I created the Chihuahua Puppy Success Path, because that's what your training is. It's a path of little successes which then lead to confidence and optimism and a dog that is able to cope with the environment. So instead of throwing our dog into a lot of situations that they don't have the skills for, and hoping that they'll learn to cope, I will show you how to build calmness, how to build confidence and resilience right from the beginning without flooding or overexposing your dog. We'll help Puppy develop positive predictions about the world around them. So rather than constantly being worried about what is happening over there and is it bad for me, we will help them understand that what is happening over there, none of my business, nothing that I need to worry about, because preventing behavior problems is so much easier than trying to fix them later on. If you'd like to find out more about the Chihuahua Puppy Success Path, there will be a link in the description below, which will take you through to the information page and you can find out more about it. And if you're not ready to join us yet, I have put together a downloadable free guide with 3 simple tips for Chihuahua puppy training and to help owners avoid making some of these very early mistakes. So if you, again, I've put the link in the description below. So if you click on that, I will send it to your inbox. So I hope you found this video useful. As ever, please give us a thumbs up and like and subscribe to our channel, because it helps us spread the positive Chihuahua training message. So that's all I've got for you today. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Bye bye for now.